Are you wanting to embed more gratitude into your life? Well, today I'm going to share my approach to gratitude with you that's really enhanced the quality of my life and really started to feel it more. And if you stay until the end, I have an extra point for you then as well. Now, if you want to connect with me further, I will leave my links to my social media in the show notes below as well. So gratitude is something that, as I kind of mentioned then, I struggle with. And it's something that's really helped my mental health, my self-esteem, and my confidence, actually, all those things. Because I felt better about life, I felt better about myself, and confidence that I can turn things around a lot more. It was something I struggled with because I was always asking the wrong questions. I'd be like, for a very long time in my life, even though I'd be achieving a lot of things in like personal and professional life, I'd be going, okay, what do I have to work, like, what's going to go wrong? And I'd be very, very analytical, which served me in some ways in that I get a lot of things done and I become very good at planning and organizing. Yet I would never feel like as much joy as I wanted to. And then I heard people when I got in this personal growth space going to me, and I'm just going to be honest about this, going like, be grateful, gratitude. And actually even from a young age, like you hear maybe family, like friends or like teachers saying, just got to be grateful. And it just really used to wind me up. I'm going to be honest. Do you know why? Because it's like, how do I do that? Right. And that's a big thing with personal growth in general, in my personal view. It's like, how do we do it? Great. Okay. You should be happier. Great. How do I do that? Like, and again, there's no one size fits all in anything. Yeah, I do like to give a bit of guidance where I can and suggestions and prompts. And that's what good coaches I've had and a great coach I've got, well, amazing coach I've got in the moment does for me. So for me, I'm just going to share my personal approach to gratitude, and it's something you can try. Now, the thing is, the brain wires a certain way and it will like search for the answer to the question, you look at it. So if you're constantly waking up, and even if you're not conscious to the question and you're asking yourself, what's going to go wrong today? Oh God, why did I have to wake up? You're only going to get negative answers. Pretty common sense this, but we don't think consciously about this most of the time, I've realized, and certainly not for me. But if you're asking yourself, and if you're asking yourself this question regularly, what am I grateful for about today? What can I really enjoy? What do I love about me? You keep asking that again and again and again, and repeating. Repetition with enjoyment is going to give you the best results. Then your brain will start wiring in a different way. And that's what we're going to go in today. Ask yourself this question. If you keep asking yourself a bad question, what are you going to keep getting? A negative answer. And that's going to affect how you're feeling. Right? Now, there's lots of factors, and I talk about all different areas that I think impact my mental health and impact like my self-esteem and all those kind of things on my podcast. Yeah. If you're thinking a certain way, it's only going to make you feel a certain way. So that's why I wanted to talk about gratitude today. And I've certainly been guilty of thinking the wrong way. So this is my approach to gratitude. The first thing is list things daily, like twice a day, write down 3 things. Just get into a routine. Twice a day. I used to do it, say, once a day, but I do it twice a day now. Just write down on paper 3 things. So that's 6 things in total in a day, but you do it in 2 lots of 3. Like I do it in the morning, and I usually do it sometime in the afternoon around lunchtime after maybe a workout or walk or something like that. You could do it before bed as well. What I do is I tend to review the list before I go to bed as well. So the second thing, though, which leads on from that, is list different things and small things. Don't write 2 generic statements. You can do that from time to time. You can write things like, I'm grateful for being alive, and you're not really feeling it, right? That's okay to write from time to time if you're in one of those moods and you're just like, I'm so grateful I woke up today. I'm just so grateful to be alive. What time and age we live in, right? What I find, though, is it's better to be more smaller and specific. So it's like someone opened the door for you, or someone smiled at you this morning, someone bought you a coffee. You had a nice fresh glass of water, and you were saying somewhere and the water was fresh. Something silly like that sometimes can make all the difference. Like I was in a coffee shop the other day, and the barista, she gave me like a free bit of cake. Now, to be honest, I try and eat healthy most of the time. I took it, right? And I was really grateful, and I wrote that in my log. Just think of small things when you're doing the 2 lots of 3. Don't try and be too generic, because I find that doesn't work. Because I used to just write the same things again and again. I'm grateful to be alive. I'm grateful I can walk. And obviously those are things to be grateful for, because I'm very blessed. I know unfortunately it's not the case for everyone. And I wish everyone, had some of the blessings I do. Or I'd write things like, I'm so grateful that I can read and write. Now I am grateful, but I'd write that again and again so it lost its meaning. So think of things specifically each day and just small things. And you can write a big one from time to time, right? Just don't be too general with it. And then the third thing is something called contrast frames. And I learned this from one of my great teachers, Peter Sage. And I actually just recently re-released an episode I did with him called Men's Mental Health and Emotional Freedom on one of my podcasts. So, and that was Friday what date is it now? Friday the 29th of August. Anyway, check that one out. Anyway, he talks about something in his book, The Inside Track, called contrast frames. Definitely recommend reading his book. This guy's great on emotional mastery. He's also very good with business mastery, and very good with like the non-physical world. He's very clever, a very clever man, even though he'll claim not to be. So a contrast frame is something when this, and I want to be very clear on this concept may not work. It's not probably the best tool to use if you just come out of like a really traumatic, hard situation. If you come out of like a breakup or you've lost someone, this may be a bit tricky to use. If you're just in a bit of a down mood and you're feeling bad about something that, you want to get over, or you're not feeling, or just feeling in a bit of a meh, sort of like neutral mood, this can be an effective one though. A contrast frame is when you look at a situation or something you found challenging that's happened to you, and then you think you're grateful that it's not a worst case scenario. And I'll give you some examples to explain what I mean. Recently, I had an accident and I hurt my knee. Now, my knee's a bit sore and I've been limping and I've not been able to play football for a week. Not really tried running on it yet. Do you know what though? I use a contrast frame on this. At least I did not break my leg. I'm so grateful I did not break my leg. That is a contrast frame. In the book, he actually gives a extreme example for a prisoner who's really unhappy that they got 6 months in prison. And it's not about accepting the situation. It's not saying, I'm so pleased and buzzing about this, or faking it, right? And the prisoner was like really upset that he had 6 months, right? And you can understand why. However, he had committed a crime and there's a bit of assault, and he just got caught on the wrong end and ended up getting in a brawl with someone and then got put in prison for like 6 months for assault. And Peter talks through it. I'm not obviously condemning assaulting someone. That's always a bad thing. But then Peter talked to him and said, well, at least that guy didn't have a serious injury or, die from what happened when you punched him, because else you'd be serving like 20 years. And then the guy like completely changed how he's feeling. Now that's an extreme example, right? Or Peter himself actually had an example. He went skiing and he had an accident and he had to have quite a big surgery on his face. And you can't even tell now, but he applied the principle and he was so grateful that he didn't break his neck, right? And again, it's not like, for some extreme examples, this might not work, but it may be like, oh, well, I just lost some money, or I just overspent some money, and maybe you've lost like £1,000. And then you think, wow, I could have lost 100,000. That's a contrast frame, or even 10,000, right? That's a contrast frame where it's not about thinking the thing that's happened to you is right and you want it to happen more and more. It's just looking that actually you're grateful a worst case scenario didn't happen. And like I said, this is one to just play about with a little bit. It probably won't work if you just like lost someone or you've lost a relationship or something like that. So those are my 3 main points. I've got a final one I want to share as well. I want to reference again though that if you want to connect with me further on social media, I will leave my links in the show notes below as well. So my final point to you would be this one: challenges. Being grateful for challenges that come up in your life. And I love being able to try to apply this. It's interesting, right? I was going through a lot of our sales team stats in the last 2 weeks, and it was a challenge certainly with our high no-show rate and people not turning up for our calls. Put it that way. So we're doing a lot, but you know what? I'm so grateful that I get to run a team with that and a great bunch of individuals, and we get to grow this together, and we get to learn a lot from this experience, right? And it's definitely harder to do, harder said easier said than done. That's the phrase I'm looking for, right? Mixing up my words there. Easier said than done, right? When you can do this again and again and ever ongoing practice, it can become really effective. So a challenge, maybe like I'll use one for myself. Had a tough dating relationship situation last year, and at the time, obviously, well, not obviously, but I was really impacted. Like I won't go into the details, but I was really impacted, and no blame to anyone or anything like that. But yeah, I was really impacted. And I was emotionally a little bit all over the place for a couple of months. You know, I tried to stay on top of my habits, reach out to people. Some people were annoying me with their unwelcome advice a little bit. And it's not advice, it's an opinion. The difference between the two is advice is only when the person's walked and done and overcome what you said. Everything else is an opinion. That's what I'd say. I was in a tough place, but now like I'm just grateful for the challenge. It's like I got into men's work. I got into even more developing myself. I developed a stronger sense. And do you know what? Like I've developed such a stronger like sense of energy to be around the women in my life, like friends and family. And when I date, it's like I've got such a stronger sense in myself because of that challenge. Another example, when I was younger, I got a lot of job interview rejections, right? And at the time, it was frustrating, it was annoying, and I didn't know any of this stuff, right? Yet I developed such good communication skills. Now, I'm not saying the best communicator in the world, right? Like I'll slip up on words on this all the time, right? I'm just being me, just sharing my story. Yet it allowed me to develop like really valuable employee skills and communication skills, and then I started to earn a lot of money because of that, and then get like positions like sales team manager, like I never dream of having right in the past, or project manager, or running a whole like project management function, or being in the project management consultancy, right? From all the challenges I had and setbacks on job interviews, I'm so glad I got rejected from some of them because I wouldn't be where I am today. So that's another thing you can be grateful for, and just practice. And if you can practice being grateful in the moment for things when they're tough, may not always be possible, but if you can do it as much as possible, then you don't have to wait for the time to go, and you can actually start feeling more gratitude now. Wherever you are in life, I would suggest using gratitude, and that's what I want to share with you today. So I appreciate you for being here, and remember to lead with your heart and not with fear.